Okay, so I really wanted to go over core activation with everybody. I think it's super important for us to understand how to contract the core and hold on to it in every other activity. So, whether you're doing other exercises, running, obviously planking, doing core exercises, the other video that we did where it was, core without crunches or planks, finding that activation first is such a huge deal. But I would say that this is a really, really good format or a good little progression of exercises to go through to make sure that you know how to properly contract and engage the core. It's something to work on. You're not going to be able to have it perfect the first time unless you've already been working on it for a while. So, and maybe you have. But what we're going to try to do is train the core, which is everything kind of through the rib cage and then across the abdomen, to engage and hold strong through everything that we're doing, and how to have the proper setup for a lot of different things like crunches or twists. And we'll finish off with a plank. If you don't plank yet, no worries, or at all. Some of you have some issues with neck and shoulder, thoracic stuff through your back. That's fine. You can just stay with a V-sit, which I'll go over, or more dead bugs. So what we're going to do is just start with a pelvic tuck. So you're going to lie down with your knees bent. And when you lie down, place your feet on the ground. Most of us, all of us should really have kind of a natural low back arch. So whether or not you can get your hands under there or not is not a big deal, but we all kind of have that natural arch. And what we're going to do is with our exhale, we're going to take the arch out by pushing the low back toward the ground and tucking the pelvis. So a lot of times when we tuck the pelvis, we flex the butt. You flex the butt and you can get your pelvis tucked, but I want you to keep your butt really flabby and unflexed. So there should not be any grab going on there at all. Contract and pull. Feel like your ab muscles on either side of your abdomen, either side of your belly button are pulling together and knitting together. Like you have an internal corset, you're pulling, pulling, pulling. Inhale, let it release. Exhale, pull it together. The bottom of the pull, really contract, hold. See if you can hold it a sec and release. Inhale, relax. Exhale, tuck. Should get it nice and knitted together. Inhale. Exhale. Depending on how strong your core is or isn't, so keep this going while I'm talking. Exhale, contract. Depending on that, you should be doing 30 of these a day, just to build that interior contraction, that interior basis of your abdomen, of your core. So this is to build health of the core and strength of the core, not necessarily six-pack abs. But if you can start that inside and then work out, then it makes a big difference. I'm going to do 6 more. Two. Release. Push the low back into the ground. 3. Release. Exhale. Contract. 4. Inhale, release. Exhale, contract. This is 5. Keep your butt relaxed. Last one. 6. All right. So now what we're going to do on the side of your abdomen, so not your obliques and not your rectus abdominis, but kind of right in between the muscles you use to laugh and cough, those are your transverse abdominis. So we're going to try to activate those, try to find those. So to get that, first thing we're going to do is push that low back in, exhale, okay, contract across the core. So now you're going to hold the contraction. You're pushing the low back into the ground. Extend your left leg long. Keep the contraction of the core. Lift the leg. That's your inhale. Exhale, lower, but don't let those contractions in your transverse go. The lower the leg gets, the more difficult it is to keep that contraction. So if it only comes halfway, that's fine. It's easy here to contract and grab through the quad and your hip flexor, but try to find those transverse muscles right here. Check in, make sure your glute, especially on that right side, the foot that's on the ground, is still relaxed. I think this is 4, we got 6 more. Slow and controlled. So this is about contracting, holding that flexion through your abdomen while you're moving the body. If you're not able to keep the contraction, you need to go back to the pelvic tucks and just stay there. Stay there until you can get this. Think about knitting and pulling those rectus abdominis together, scooping the belly, tightening through the transverse on that mid side, and then moving. You'll get there. Takes focus and build up. You have to progress. Don't jump ahead if you're not ready. Last one. Put it down. If you need a little break, take it. Get that little contraction or release through the low back coming off the mat. Push it back in. Contract through the abdomen. Grab that transverse on the side. You can even check in. Get a little cough. Ugh. Should be tough to contract, breathe, and move all at the same time. Stay relaxed in that left glute. This is 3. 4. Stay contracted, tuck it in deep. This is 8. So each of these are contracting, they're progressing one on top of the other. So if at some point you get to the point where you can't keep the low back on the ground, keep the contraction through the transverse, you need to stop and go back to the exercise before. Last. All right, put your foot down. Take a little second. All right, so now what we're going to do is push that low back into the ground, contract across your abdomen again, and then bring your legs up into a tabletop. So the goal here would be to get your knees right on top of your hips. Contract across that core, push the low back in. This may be where you stay. So just stay for a few seconds, put your legs down, come back up, hold, contract, contract, push low back in, and then put the legs down. So if that's where you're at, stay there. Otherwise, pull those legs up, push the low back into the ground, and then you're going to extend one leg out, pull it back. One leg out, pull it back. So the tendency here, as you push one leg out, is to pull the other one in. Keep it right over the hips. I like to set my hands right on the abdomen, those transverse muscles, so I can feel whether or not I have the contraction that I want. Stay with it. I'm burning. You should be burning. You're doing it right. If it looks like nothing, but it feels like you can almost not keep that contraction hardly anymore. Pushing, actively pushing the low back into the ground. Envision that a child or a person was going to come jump on your stomach. Would it be ready to take it? Flex your thighs as well. You can go one more each side. All right, hug your knees into the chest. Take a little second, little break. You should need it. All right, progressing from there, we're gonna do a dead bug. So you're going to look like a dead bug. Legs go back where they were just a second ago, that tabletop position. Arms are going to reach up toward the sky. So your poor little bug on its back can't flip over. All right, we're going to extend left leg, right arm. Hold that core, contract, contract. Push your low back into the ground. Inhale. Exhale, back to start. Inhale. Exhale, back to start. That's one. Keep the shoulder blades pushed down the back. Stay contracted through that core. And then remember, if the movement doesn't work, if you're not able to keep that low back on the ground and keep the flexion through those transverse while you're moving, just go back to the previous exercise and stay there. Don't progress until you can stay with it. Try to keep that one leg flexed and firm right over your hip as you extend the other. 2 more each side. Last one. All right, hug it in. We're going to bring the body up and turn it over. I'm going to work from hands and knees now. All right, so we're going to start with a cat-cow. Just probably 4. We'll do 4 of them. Inhale, push the chest forward. That actually feels so good on that super contracted core that we've been working on. Get it open and stretched. Exhale, tuck under. Round, round, round. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, when you round, activate that core again. See if you can tuck deep between your pubic bone and belly button. There's 3. 1 more. And 4. All right, we're going to come to a neutral spine. So your back is flat, engage the shoulder blades down the spine. Hands are right underneath shoulders, spread your fingertips nice and wide. And we're gonna do an accordion. And this is really awkward for a lot of people, but just as you play with it, I really trust you'll get better and better. Basically, you bring your hip towards your shoulder, right hip toward right shoulder. So I'll do a couple different angles so you can see the different movements. So you pull to one side, and then you pull to the other. So if you think about an accordion or a slinky, one side pulls together as the other side kind of stretches. Keep the back long, try not to round, but keep long. Pull to one side, pull to the other. I'll go this way as well. See if you can see a little different. Pull to one side, pull to the other. So your hips aren't shifting way out like this with the arms still, but your back is still. The spine kind of stays long, and then you're pulling side to side. Okay, so push into the hands, slide shoulder blades down, neutral spine. We're going to keep going 10 more. So here you want to feel the obliques, side of the body, side of that rib cage, but still pull the front of the belly button tight. Here's 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, come back to your neutral spine, so you're not sagging, nor are you rounding, but you're just pushing into those hands, contract along your low belly, and we're going to go into a bird dog. See, I think I'm not too long. So you're going to extend your left leg back in line with your hips, and the right leg forward. Once you get here, I want you to take a couple breaths. Slide the shoulder blades down. Make sure you're not crooked in your hips, but square them off to the ground. Contract across your abdomen. Try to find those same contractions that we built from the ground in our pelvic tuck. So after your extension, inhale, then you're going to round elbow, tucks to knee. Find those same heat, the muscles contracting to build the heat that we did from the ground. There's one. Exhale, round. 2. 3. Round, round, round. Dig deep. 4. 5. Make the core contract. You have to flex and then move and keep the flexion. 7. 8. 9. 10. All right, set that side down. We're going to move to the other side. Extend. Another way to make sure your hips aren't lifted or lowered is to drop the toes on the ground. Then keep your hips still as you lift your leg. So extend opposite arm and leg. We got left arm, right leg. Find the contraction of the belly. Slide shoulder blade down. Make sure you're not collapsing into that right shoulder. And then exhale. Round knee to elbow. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Keep the low belly strong. Build the heat. 6. Focus. 7. Don't just get through the moves. Contract deep. 8. 9. 10. All right. Set that hand down. Let's take a quick child's pose. Big toes together. Hinge your hips back. Reach the arms forward. Nice work. Builds heat. If you're contracting that core enough, you're building the heat. Okay, we're going to flip back over onto our back. Working again from those foundations of the pelvic tuck, but we are going to be crunching now. So remember, if you're not ready for this, then you just go back from where we've been. Okay, so find your pelvic tuck. Knees are bent, feet on the ground. Push your low back into the ground. Make sure your glutes are relaxed. Rest the head and the hands. So the head should feel heavy and the hands. You're not pulling on the neck at all. So here, already the core is strong. Exhale with your lift. Inhale with your lower. Keep that chin tucked in. Keep the flexion through the abdomen. Don't relax at the bottom. 4. 5. 6. 7. Envision you're scooping as you lift. 2 more. And 10. All right, hug your knees in a quick sec. We're going to finish off with our plank. Good finisher. So everything that we've learned from now, that pelvic tuck, flexing across that core, that's what we want to use in our plank position. So plank is not just about holding the body suspended on your hands or your elbows for a certain amount of time. It's really finding as much flexion as you can. So if you're flexing enough, it will be difficult to hold for a very long period of time. So let's get our timer set up. We're going to hold for 30 seconds. If you need to come down, that's fine. But we're going to start off
with elbows right over your, or right under your shoulders, with the chest kind of right between your forearms. A lot of times we end up hunkering too far back. We need to stay up forward a little bit more. One leg extends back, flex through that quad, and for your plank, you are going to grab through the glutes. So extend your other leg back, tuck the tailbone under, and that's how you're going to get your hips in line with your shoulders. So you want to make sure you're not up too high or down too low, but be right in the center, right where you can find that same contraction like we did with the pelvic tuck, almost like we're pushing that low back into the ground. So you're scooping across your low belly, flexing through the glutes, grabbing through the quads, hold the belly firm. We have 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop your knees, hinge back. We're going to go 2 more. If you want to just stay in your plank, go for it. All right, bring yourself forward, set up. 3, 2, 1. Hips are up, chest is forward. Contract, flex. Push into the elbows, pull the elbows back towards your toes. Actively engage your core. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees or stay if you want. All right, 5 seconds. We're going to hit our last set. Bring yourself forward. Ready, set, and go. Core is a lot through the entire trunk, underneath your rib cage, not just the belly. Glutes, thighs. Press back through the heels. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Drop onto the knees, hinge back. That last child's pose. And then if you want to come forward to a little stretch here, stay on your knees, push the elbows back towards your ribs, and pull the chest forward. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me for a little core setup. If you struggle with low back pain, this is also a great session to go through, cycle through, and make sure that you can stay contracted through everything. It really should help support that low back if you struggle with it through especially exercises or really anything in your day-to-day life. All right, have a great day.